Hello, aloha, aloha. Tonight, it is Monday night instead of Tuesday at noon. So I am actually doing this a day ahead of time, my live broadcast, because tomorrow I'm on a road trip. So thank you for understanding my Tuesday tips for Rockin' relationships today, this week only, on Monday. So this way I could do it live instead of doing a recorded video. We've got some great questions that have been asked around when a man's actions and words don't match up. And also, I have all my questions here. How to rekindle a past relationship and advice for living together for the first time. So these are great questions. So this first question, a man's words, actions, and energy, when they're not matching up, which one should I believe? So this is an interesting situation, and especially this is a woman who's asking about a man. And I would say really pay attention to his actions in terms of what he spends his resources on. And resources we consider money, energy, and time. So what is he spending those things on? Because those are more in alignment with his values. If he's saying something, telling you something, and then doing something different, you have to ask yourself why. And there's a couple of reasons this could be happening. He could be doing this to protect you because there's something that he needs to say that he knows is going to hurt you. He knows that you don't want to hear it. Men are natural born providers and protectors. They just are. It's in their DNA. It's in their neural pathways. And when it's somebody that he cares about, he does not want to hurt them. And sometimes it can be difficult for him to be truthful if he knows it's something that you don't want to hear. The other reason why it's sometimes difficult for men to be honest with us is because sometimes we're not a safe place for them to be honest. For example, concealment is a normal, natural survival instinct, okay? Especially in men, men conceal to protect. So they conceal information about their families or their careers or whatever in order to protect that thing. And if he doesn't feel like he can share a piece of information with someone who might use it against him later or do damage in some way to that thing he's trying to protect, then he'll conceal it. And he won't even think about it. It's not even a thought. It's just, he doesn't even think to share it, or he knows to not share it with certain people, right? And that's true when he knows either it's something that's not going to be kept confidential or it's something that's going to be used against him later. So with this question, when a man's words, actions, and energy don't match, which do I believe? You really gotta see what this situation is and see why does he feel like he's not being honest. Has he tried to tell you something that you don't want to hear? And then maybe he gave up trying to tell it to you because you didn't want to hear it. I don't know any other way to say it. Let me give you an example of a couple that I know. A year ago, she moved to a different city, 3 hours away, but wanted to continue the relationship. And he tried to break up with her at that time. So here's the caveat. When men tell us something, especially around relationship, they're not ready to be in a relationship. They're not feeling the same way about us that we feel about them, whatever it is. We need to believe them. They are being truthful. They are being honest, and they are being honorable. It is an honorable man that is honest with us about not being ready for a relationship. Okay. We need to believe them. So in this situation, a year ago, he tried to end the relationship for whatever reason, maybe the long distance thing. That does not work for everybody. I don't know what the reasons were, but she did not want to end it. So she kind of didn't let him end it somehow. She kept him in the relationship. And now she is back in town and he's trying to end it again. So during this year of being apart, they would see each other a few times, but she was always the one making the effort. Okay, she was driving to see him, and even since she's been back in town, living back in town, he's blocked and he's not making an effort to see her. He's telling her again that he doesn't want the relationship, that he wants to break up, and she's not accepting that. She's very upset, which is understandable. However, you got to look at the clear signs, right? You got to look at the actions. He has again and again demonstrated that he doesn't want to be in that relationship, and she's not believing him. She's not letting that go. It would best serve her. It would best serve both of them for her to say, okay, I get it. Let's part as friends, and move on. There will be more relationships, right? And believe me, I've been through a ton of relationships. If you know my story, I went from hot mess for over a decade to happily ever after, several relationships. And I finally got to the point I had to create my belief around, I knew after every breakup that if this amazing guy was not the right guy for me, there was another one waiting right around the corner. There was some other guy that was just even more of a perfect fit for me. And I had to believe that because for a while I didn't believe it. I thought, oh, there's no Mr. Right out there. There's no one right for me. And we will find what we believe. So examine your beliefs. This is a side tangent. Sorry, this happens. Examine your beliefs, what you think about men, what you think about relationships, what you think about women, and you will find what you believe. So if you believe all men are dogs, you will find evidence of that every single day. If you believe that men are honorable and amazing, if you've taken my classes, like I teach you these all about men and their survival instincts and how they are so amazing and they are honorable. But sometimes we don't see that. We're not trained to see that, until we receive this new information and we have an illumination, and it's a different story. So if a man's words and actions are different, again, I would look and see what his actions are, because there's some reason why he's not speaking his truth, because men usually will, believe it or not. They usually will, unless we've created a situation where it's not safe for him to be honest, or he's trying to not hurt us, or he's tried to tell us before he tried to break up with us a year ago and we didn't believe him then, so that's my answer to that question. The next question I have here is, can you rekindle a past relationship and have it flourish? So this is a great question. And this is similar to this first question, because you need to examine, and I'm not sure if it's a male or a female who wrote this, I apologize. However, you need to examine for you, why didn't the relationship work the first time? What were the circumstances? What was the issue? What were the interpersonal disagreements? Okay, why did it not work? Both of you need to examine that. Really get honest about it. And why do you feel it will be different this time? And have a conversation about that. Sit down and have a deep conversation. If you want to do couples coaching, I do coaching. It's way better than counseling. I think counseling is great. However, coaching is very different. But sit down and have that deep conversation on why it didn't work last time. Were there needs that weren't met? Were there expectations that weren't fulfilled? Because let me tell you, anytime you have an expectation of your partner or any person or any situation in the world, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And especially if your expectation is invisible, right? Most of the time our expectations are invisible. We have this expectation that this is the way the world will be, and that's based on my childhood experiences. I don't even verbalize that expectation to my partner or to, whoever, whatever. And then I get upset when my expectations aren't met. It is a way to set yourself up for failure and disappointment again and again. Trust me, I did it for years. So really, you and the other person talking about, again, I'm assuming that both parties want to try again. If one party is saying, no, I can't do it, I can't go there, just believe them. Just believe them and agree to be friends, and don't hold out hope. There are so many amazing people out there. So don't be hung up on the one person. If by chance they are telling you they can't be in a relationship or they don't want a relationship. So, however, if both people do want the relationship, then really get real with yourself. Both of you get real on why it didn't work and how you think it'll be different this time and what your needs are. Both people have to know what their needs are, and just really talk about that. Really discuss it. Really see how it'll be different. And see if maybe there was some maturing that needed to happen. I don't know what the situation is. I don't have anything more than that question. Yeah, just really get clear on what made it not work the first time and why you think it could work this time, and what you need in order for the relationship to work. What do you need? And verbalize it. It cannot be an invisible expectation. Okay, you have to say it out loud and try to approach this fun and playful and give each other compliments. Just first start off there. Like, tell each other what you admire about each other, what you love about each other. And ladies, use this word, respect. If you are speaking to a man or a woman who's in hunting mode a lot of the time, tell them what you respect about them. For them, being respected is the equivalent of a woman feeling loved. Okay, they need to feel respected. So tell them what you appreciate and what you love about them, what you respect about them. Both of you do it both ways. And then just approach this, well, shall we look at the relationship and talk about what didn't work, talk about what could be different perhaps, and what your needs are. Get really, really clear on that and be very honest with each other. If you want to have a chance at making it work and having it be different than the first time or better than the first time. So it absolutely can work. But I think that very open, very honest communication is absolutely the key. Okay. All right. Now, so do you have any advice on living together for the first time? Living together is a wonderful adventure. And I believe this is when people find out their compatibility. When we live together, or if we work together, or if we travel together, that is where you really get to know someone's personality on a deeper level and compatibility. So with living together, we all come from different backgrounds, right? We all had different childhoods. Even me, I have a twin brother. And he and I had vastly different childhoods in the same household, okay? We had different experiences. We developed different beliefs about the world and different habits and things. We're different people, okay? So start there. You and your honey, and again, I'm sorry, I don't know if this is from a man or a woman, but you and your honey are two very different people. So one of the mistakes that we often make as human beings is we tend to think that my view of the world is the same way that everyone else sees it. And hopefully by now that is so not true. But there's a lot of adults that still kind of assume that. So my upbringing is the same upbringing everyone else had, or my views about money, or my views about relationships, or whatever, or exercise, fill in the blank, is the same views that other people have. Well, that is not true. And the fastest way to find that out is to, travel to a foreign country together. That is an awesome, fun adventure. Or live together. Living together is huge. So talk about those things, discuss those things, or just know that your beliefs and your mannerisms and your style is going to be different, and allow, each partner needs to allow that space and that grace for that person to be who they are. Okay. For example, my husband loves the house very neat and very tidy. And I own 2 businesses and I ain't got no time for that. Ain't nobody got no time for that. I don't have time for, I don't even care. I mean, our house is neat and stuff, but my area, my space that I'm in right now, this room I call my studio, used to be the guest bedroom, but I needed a space. I had no space to work other than in my bedroom. I mean, I have an area where there was a desk, but it wasn't space where I could work and create. And my creative genius, I'm a very analytical left brain person. However, my creative genius is pretty messy. I need space. I got paperwork. If you can see all around me, I got paperwork. I got stuff happening. And so I needed that space. And so it took a while for me to ask for that, to ask for what I needed. But we converted the guest bedroom into my space where I can meet with clients, where I can do my filming. I also do audio recordings. I teach meditation. And so I needed my space. My space is messy. My space is messier than the rest of the house. And that doesn't bother me. I call it organized chaos. Okay. If the rest of the house was this messy, that would really bother my husband, and so that's just an example of when you're living together, you have to there's got to be some give and take. And, it wasn't too long ago when my husband and I sat down and we've been together 4.5 years now. And we had a conversation about the dishes and the laundry and such. And what were the expectations around that? What did each of us want around that kind of tidiness around the house? And so I changed some of the things that I do around the house because I know it makes him happy. So when you are in love with someone, you care about someone, and you're able to provide something that makes them happy, like it just comes back to you tenfold. It makes for a happy, harmonious relationship. And men do this for women in all sorts of different ways. Men provide in so many different ways for women or for any people that they care about. They provide in so many different ways that we don't even see, right? So again, it's just what we see. The lens that I'm looking through is different than the lens that my husband looks through. We're just two different people. So with this living together, you have to give each other space to be who you are and allow for that. It can be very common that one person is messy, one person is tidy. It can be that one person is the spender and one person is the saver, right? When it comes to money. So there's all these conversations that you can have and just come from that place of human spirit where you're feeling calm and happy. You're not agitated about something, because when you approach a conversation from agitation, or what we call human normal, the normal survival instincts, when one of those instincts is triggered and you approach a conversation that way, it's going to put the other person on the defensive. They will be able to feel it, sense it, tone, facial expressions, body posture, it all matters. So I could ask my husband the question like this: well, how often do you want the dishes to be done? I could ask it like that because my instinct is triggered that I'm going to have to do a bunch of dishes or whatever is going on in my brain, right? Or I could ask him from a different tone, from a different place, shift into human spirit, just take a few deep breaths, and coming from that place of being happy. And I could ask, well, honey, if you had it all your way, what would be your ideal with the dishes? Describe it to me. So the way that you approach these conversations is so important. Again, I always say start with a compliment, start with talking about something genuine that you appreciate about that person, and then go into the conversation. And this could be really great for this question of living together and the previous two questions really about relationships, rekindling a past relationship and having those difficult conversations when words and actions aren't matching. Both people can say this. You just finished this sentence. If I had it all my way, I would. If I had it all my way, I'd have a housekeeper at my house every single day picking up after me, so I wouldn't even have to worry about it, So you can talk about that. Just, if I had it all my way, this is what I want. This is what I want. And just, speak in big terms and dream. It doesn't mean that we're going to do that. I'm not going to hire a housekeeper to be in my house every day follow around after me and pick up after me. I can take some responsibility for my own stuff. But that's that if I had it all my way, start with that. Let both people express that when you're talking about whether it's living together or some other thing in your relationship or in your life, and let both of you fill in the blank and finish that. So that's my advice. Living together for the first time, just a lot of patience, a lot of grace, and a lot of open communication. And I would recommend maybe weekly or maybe every other week, maybe weekly to begin, coming together, setting a time to come together. Maybe it's Sunday nights at 8 p.m. or something, Sunday night dinner. Come together and talk about, this is what worked for me. So again, always start with the positive. This week has been fantastic. Here's what worked for me. I really loved it when you did this or that. I loved that you brought home flowers. I loved that you took out the trash without me even saying anything and the kitchen wasn't stinky. Whatever. I really love this. And then what I would like to have differently, or what I would like to have more of, that kind of thing. And then talk about that. When you were coming home late from work that night and you didn't let me know. So what I would love to be different about that is, if you're going to be late coming home from work, just send me a text or give me a call. Just let me know. So if you talk about that every week, or maybe every other week, you can get that stuff cleared up while it's little, right? While it's little. And again, you want to have these conversations coming from a place of fun and happiness, not from a place of being triggered or agitated. And so if you can talk about those and just get that little stuff cleared up and make little agreements, and we can all adjust and flow to make the home more harmonious, then that prevents the irritations from festering. Which, if they fester and you don't talk about it and your expectations aren't being met and they're invisible, so nobody even knows you have an expectation of what you want them to do, then we start to feel resentful. Both people will feel resentful. I'll feel resentful because he's not doing this, and he'll feel resentful that he doesn't even know that he's supposed to be doing that, So if we let that go on month after month after month, that can be really hard. That can be really hard on a relationship when we are living together. So I hope that gave you some good ideas. And again, this is my Tuesday tips for Rockin' Relationships. I'm doing it today on Monday because I'm on a road trip tomorrow. So I was going to just do something pre-recorded, but I wanted to be live for you. I wanted to be here and do this for you. I'm not able to do it from the car with no Wi-Fi. So thank you for understanding. And I wanted to have a fun live video for you. And let's see, sometimes we get comments on Facebooks and such. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll have to enable the notifications. You look up in the post, you'll see how to do that. If you're watching on YouTube, fantastic. You can also leave comments. And I will just, again, if you want to submit a question, this is the best place to go to find it, the empoweredrelationships.org, and click on events, or even the very first page, empoweredrelationships.org. I've got information up there. And you can see, or click on events, and you'll see where you can submit your question, where you can watch the live broadcast. I broadcast at the same time on Facebook in my group, which is free for anyone to join, and also on YouTube. And let's see, here we go. That is where you can submit your question, Q&A.empoweredrelationships.org. Totally confidential. I don't need your email address. I don't need your name or anything like that. It's very confidential. And this is where I broadcast live on YouTube. So that's youtubelive.barbarasalmeron.com. Again, normally it's Tuesday at noon. And there's my Facebook group, Empowered Relationships to End the Battle. And that is what I have for you today. And that was our episode. This is episode 5. So we're talking about while we are in isolation with coronavirus. This was episode 5. Tuesday tips for rockin' relationships. And I will see you next week, Tuesday at noon Central. And I'm in Texas, so I'm on Central Time. So just adjust for your time zone. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.